Hello, everyone. Here's our lecture on Jewish holy days. These words on your calendar, you'll finally know what they are. We start with Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. Judaism is based off mostly a lunar calendar that kind of oversimplifies the calendar, but it's mostly a lunar calendar, not a solar calendar. So Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, usually appears in what a solar Gregorian Western calendar would call September or October. Definitely a happy, joyful time of the year. This starts a 10-day period called the High Holy Days, which ends with Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, which 10 days after Rosh Hashanah, is the most sacred day of the year for the Jewish people. So it's the most holy, most solemn, most sacred day of the year for all Jews. It's the last day of the High Holy Days. Basically follows the 10 days after. It's the last day of the 10 days of Rosh Hashanah. This is a day where even your most kind of separated Jew, Jew in name only, secular, humanistic, nominal Jew, this is when they will, if they ever go to synagogue, this is the day that they'll go to synagogue. This is the day that obviously a lot of Jews will attend synagogue if they're not going weekly already. So it's the holiest day of the year. This is where you attend synagogue and you beg God for forgiveness for all your transgressions, all your violations, everything that caused estrangement, separation, and exile between you and God, all the sins that you committed. And a lot of Jews will do a full 24-hour fast as well. Holiest day of the year. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur are definitely major holidays. Sukkoth and Hanukkah, not so much. Sukkoth, the Feast of Tabernacles, Booths, the Feast of Shelters. It's 8 days in celebration of harvest, of bounty, being thankful to God for all that you have. So usually Jewish families, it's not widely practiced anymore, would build a sukkah, a temporary booth or shelter in their backyard and adorn it, decorate it with kind of a harvest theme, harvest vegetables and leaves, and the waving of the traditional branches and plants, just to give glory and thankfulness for all the bounty that you have in life. The pilgrims knew their Bible very well, and so when they planned the first Thanksgiving, they did model it after the Jewish celebration of Sukkoth. So there is that connection there, interestingly enough. Hanukkah technically is not a major Jewish holiday either. It is the Feast of Dedication, the Festival of Lights, usually in what a Westerner would call November or December. It's a very festive holiday celebrating the Jewish people under the leadership of the Maccabean brothers conquering the Syrian army of Antiochus Epiphanes IV, when he desecrated the temple by slaughtering a pig, the swine, the unclean animal in the temple. The Jews led an armed rebellion against them and were successful. They go to re-cleanse the temple. They're horrified to see, obviously, everything with the pig, but then with the realization that it's going to be very difficult to re-cleanse the temple after it was defiled, when there's only like a day of oil left. Obviously, the oil lamps strategically placed illuminated the temple. When there's only one day left, the temple's going to go dark. You're going to run out of oil in that one day before you can replenish it. But miraculously, that oil lasted for 8 days. And hence, that's when you have the menorah, that candelabra, and the 8-day celebration of Hanukkah itself. Purim is also a minor holiday as well. Sorry about that. Purim, the Feast of Esther, the Feast of Lots, or a lottery. This is when the whole book of Esther is read and reenacted, and kids put on plays reenacting the entire book of Esther. Esther, who is this hero who saves the Jewish people from extermination and genocide by the evil general Haman. He wants to eradicate and kill all Jews since they don't, pay him enough honor and respect, since they don't bow down to him. Basically, Mordecai, he is Esther's uncle. He doesn't bow down to him whatsoever. So Esther reveals that she is a Jew as Haman begins his plot to exterminate and kill all the Jews. She is married to Xerxes. Xerxes is king of the Persian Empire, so she is queen, and she reveals who she is. And she eventually leads the people after she gains their favor and their respect against Haman. So Haman is actually, he himself is killed. He is hung from the very gallows that he had built to hang all the Jews. He cast lots to determine what day he should begin this extermination of all the Jews, but he himself is hung instead. We get the word lottery from casting lots to make a judgment on something. A lottery of lots. Passover, Pesach, is definitely a major holiday. That's how you say Passover in Hebrew is Pesach. Passover. This commemorates the deliverance, the liberation of the Hebrews out of Egyptian slavery through the intervention of God on their behalf once again. The 10th plague was the death of the firstborn male child from every Egyptian household. The angel of death passed over the doors of the Hebrews because they were instructed to put sprinkle the blood of the lamb on their doorpost. And that indicated that it was a Jewish house, so that no one was to be harmed. And that's exactly what happened. The angel of death passed over those doors, and none of the children of the Hebrews were harmed. The Egyptians, of course, didn't know to do this, and they were all killed, including the male child of the Pharaoh himself. So they're released by Pharaoh's orders from the Egyptian slavery and told to leave immediately Egypt. They pack up their things so quickly that they don't even put yeast in their bread. And so Jews, to celebrate Passover, the family comes together, kind of like a Jewish Thanksgiving, and they read parts of Exodus going over this event here, and they eat foods during this Thanksgiving meal which commemorate these events of the Exodus itself. So you'll eat unleavened bread as well. And there's other foods. You have a Haggadah booklet, the retelling. It's very ordered and structured, and that meal is called the Seder meal. Seder means ordered, organized, scheduled, structured. The book tells exactly what to do, what to say it, when to eat, when to drink. Wine is, partaken as well too. So all these different foods, including, of course, lamb as well. And then Shavuot, the Feast of Weeks, the Feast of the Harvest, of the Pentecost, 50th days, 50 days. The meaning there, not widely celebrated. It does celebrate springtime, and it's connected with the deliverance of the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments, to Moses, the law on Mount Sinai as well. So there you go. There are 7 Jewish holidays. Pesach, and then Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah would definitely be major holy days. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur being a 10-day period of the high holy days, climaxing and ending in Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the holiest day. Sukkoth, Hanukkah, Purim, and Shavout, those technically would be minor in comparison for 7 total. And believe it or not, there's about 4 or 5 other holy days as well in Judaism. Judaism has a lot of holy days and festivals and celebrations, definitely for sure. I figured those 7 were enough for you. So, all right, everyone, have a great day.